balls check. All in place. This is really the first thing you should do after an accident like that. Gosh, this is really a peculiar place.
The many hold sway here. Even I cannot maintain contact. You are on your own, human.
Fail me not.
I completed System Shock 2 years after I played it for the first time. Mainly because my PC setup in '99 wasn't really that great and it couldn't handle the game. Just barely the demo version. Shame, Thief the Dark Project worked fine, but I've never been that interested in it, even knowing it's a great game. It sat on the shelf most of the time. I played System Shock 2 demo version a lot, mainly running around MedSci, using cheats and experimenting with mechanics. Then I got a sort of a break from gaming to concentrate on school and stuff. I revisited System Shock 2 around 2004, and then I finally completed it. I've been making multiple runs since then, but I usually ended at the Rickenbacker. I've never really been so keen on exploring Body of the Many once again. It just isn't my favorite level, so I obviously don't know this place as well as decks of Von Braun or Rickenbacker. But going through this area is going to be almost as interesting for me as when I played this part 7 years ago, because I don't remember much.
One of the flying things dragged me and David here last night. I don't remember much about the trip. I guess I must have blocked it out, half-conscious most of the time. I keep remembering the part from Pinocchio, you know, where the old man goes looking for the puppet inside the whale. Except I don't think anyone's coming in here to save me.
You can hear a spider roaming somewhere near. Come on, hit me. So I managed to use our arachnid friend to puncture that membrane, which I didn't believe it was possible.
We invite you to spread yourself out on our ward.
One of our many.
Whoa, that was close. No flies here. That's just fantastic. It's actually one of the last places you could see the remains of Rickenbacker merging together with the Body of the Many, which is a very interesting concept to me. Body of the Many, you know, forcing its way onto the ship's structure. God damn it.
Hi there. Please make your selection.
Oh, pity there's not much medical hypos, red hypos, in Body of the Many, because I will be using them a lot, especially at the later stages of this level. If you notice that my voice changes from time to time, it's because I record that voice narration for this episode 3 times over the period of about half of a year, I guess, and then mixed it all together. Now I'm just scavenging any resources I can find, since it's It's going to be a very hard run from now on. Oh, there is the crate. I will also take the chemicals. I don't really remember which ones are necessary to research any objects. I'll take them anyway since I just don't want to backtrack that much. I'll probably research some things just for the sake of researching it. And I won't be using most of the stuff I research anyway. Although at some stages I'll probably use some of the analytic implants, which are useful, like in a last resort way of usefulness. But let's not waste any more time and so now just typically mess around with my inventory at this point, just preparing for making a dash for the next area. I recorded this bit a few times because the Psy Reaver is very tricky to kill, especially for a low endurance character like mine. Because I didn't invest that much points in endurance as I should have. It really caused a few problems, really, especially at the final chamber. There are a lot of Psy Reavers there and Ramblers and Spiders, and it's just very tricky. You need to be very fast with this one, because it can kill you with 2 hits, and it takes 3 swings to take it down. And now we will cut through the sphincter, which holds part of gate. Normally I would just go into the water, straight into the pond, and hope that the spider follow me and drown. But spiders don't. They refuse to die, unlike Ramblers and hybrids, probably, because I never seen a hybrid drown. On my first playthrough, just after the reveal scene where Shodan introduces herself and presents the Many, I thought of Many as being more like the creature from 1987 Carpenter's movie The Thing, rather than the animalistic form they actually are. And frankly speaking, I would like that better. I know Irrational Games modeled the Many after the Borg from Star Trek universe, but I'm no Trekkie. I scarcely knew anything about Star Trek in general. Maybe some of my viewers are fans and could comment on that. I guess it's gonna be a bit of backtracking, yeah, although it's more like being lost. So to ease the awkwardness of the situation, I'm gonna play a Prefontaine log.
Now I'm convinced that this Many, as it calls itself, indeed has a centralized nervous system, which means it would have to have some kind of centralized control. To this end, I've gathered as many weapons as I could and stashed them in caches. One of the beasts discovered a cache and apparently mistook it for food. It simply brought it into the quarantine room.
So, indeed, a centralized nervous system. They claim to be so much advanced, so much fancier than humans, and in the end they are just imperfect, just like any other Shodan creation. When to think about it, it's actually a theme in the game, cause everything that Shodan does, even though she claims to be an omnipotent goddess, is flawed.
One of the main themes of this game is the rogue children concept, as I call it. Man built Shodan, and she rebelled against her makers. A classical tale. Man creates a monster who turns against its creator. You see that in culture quite often. The easiest example is, of course, the famous Dr. Frankenstein, but the theme is old and going all the way back to the 16th century Prague, with the tale of Gollum, a clay monster made by a rabbi to protect the Jewish community from hostilities of others. There are many versions of the story, but the one which I'm referring to ends with the rabbi's creation being faulty and crude and incapable of anything but violence and destruction. The man loses control over it, and it is the original being, God, who finally strikes it down. With the story, the moral of the story being that the mankind's creation cannot ever surpass the work of divine. In modern culture, the portrayal of artificial life usually implies that man-made life forms are prone to turn evil and hostile towards humans. Also, hell about smarter, stronger and stuff. System Shock 2 story seems to go along with it. Prof. Fontaine's audio journals present him praising many and going on and on how damn good they are chewing on humanity. And Shodan, of course, made a whole lifestyle out of that superiority notion. What is interesting is that the Machine Mother, in her rush to prove her divinity, repeats our mistakes by following exactly the same path and creating her own creation, the Many. This makes the whole thing become a cycle of history repeating itself. Also makes me believe that it would not be unlikely if, in time, the Many have spawned a rogue offspring of their own, adding another step to a never-ending cycle. As you can clearly see that the history likes to repeat itself in System Shock 2 universe. Funny though, in this game, once again, in the end, it is the representative of the original species is destined to clean the whole mess.
The arterial passageways are blocked by some kind of sphincter. I followed the nerves that threaded out of the walls from the blockage. They lead to a pair of nerve clusters. When the passageway is open, the cluster seems to contract. Conversely, I wonder if I was able to destroy both clusters. It would open the blockage permanently. I'm anxious to see the rest of this beast.
If I get this, he went through the sphincter without actually destroying the nerve clusters. A clever bastard. There is nothing more annoying than those invisible spiders. Not in the entire game. Apart from Psy-Reavers, which I crown the most annoying monster in System Shock 2. Not because they are powerful, but because they are frustrating to fight. With frustrating I mean they just borderline on unfair.
The Machine Mother cannot help you inside the biomass. Her coldness is not welcome within the warmth of our flesh.
Albedo's right hand once said that going through the body of the Many is like traveling up in a digestive system but without any sense, since you start up in the ass and end up in brain. Although this goes well with the ambiguity of the Many as a creature, because everything here is so messed up, you know. You have bowels, you got the teeth, you got the brain and sphincter and everything together. There's no coherence in their structure, and this emphasizes that you are fighting with a shapeless enemy. So here you can see that even the level design of this game goes with the main theme of the game, which is the conflict between the individuality and the unity, between the Shodan and the Many. Anyway, this is all for today. Thanks for watching. This is ShephardReborn, and that was Pacifist's approach. Bye.
thing we fear the most. I become capability, become the horror. What we know we can become only in our heart of darkness. It's my gift. It's my curse.